Online education, it's not something that just came out as we had to go to remote teaching because of the pandemic. In 2018, there were already 35% of all higher education course enrollment were in online courses. We can certainly expect, though, that that will continue to increase post-COVID, because one of the biggest obstacles, if you want, to embrace online education in a traditional institution has often been faculty resistance, in part because of fear of the unknown, in part because of the investment that one has to put into learning about how to teach online and the technology. I know that oftentimes when people talk of online, they think of MOOCs. MOOCs, I mean the courses in Coursera or edX that are offered to 10,000 students. We can do this presentation. I can do it from my home. I don't have to worry about wearing a mask, but even if it was in normal circumstances, I wouldn't have to travel. I wanted to show you a video that I found very powerful.
We often teach the way we were taught and struggle to think of how we could teach better based on the technologies we have. We're going to show you a technology integration framework. The first letter R represents replacement. Replacement can mean the following. 1. Changes the appearance or dressing of our practices, but not the practice itself, making digital copies of traditional practices, recycling instruction. 2. It doesn't affect teaching or learning practices and behaviors. 3. Can still be a useful use of technology because it can increase access. For example, a digital worksheet won't get lost or eaten by your dog, but it doesn't really impact or improve learning. The A in RAT equals amplifying. In other words, technology improves the efficiency of tasks or introduces new functions to original tasks. The T in RAT equals transforming. It introduces new activities in learning that are impossible without technology. Take away the technology, take away the learning too. Next in our PIC-RAT model is the PIC portion. P equals passive. In other words, students are observers, bystanders in their learning. The I equals interactive. Students engage in material in an interactive way. They are active learners. The C equals creative. Students are creating materials themselves. They are creative learners instead of passive or active ones.
A first problem that I think people encounter when they think about really utilize the potential of online education for increasing access is a problem of scaling. What we need to be able to do is, in a sense, do what the MOOCs are doing. Figure out a way to reach a much larger number of people with a teacher-student ratio that is much different than what we have in the regular classes. When you are in a class and you have 20 people in front of you, whatever you do has to be okay for all 20 people. But when you're online, oftentimes you can give choices and you can have people do different things that may be more at their level of knowledge and capacity or more appropriate to their interests. Enhancing learning opportunity, I already mentioned before that technology can allow us now to do things, provide learning opportunities that people could not have before. One of the advantages of online is that you can be more self-paced, you can do things at your own convenience and time, but the downside of that is that many online students don't succeed because they don't have the time management skills, the drive, the capacity to actually keep up with the work.
I was thinking about Google News. I read Google News a lot, mainly because it learns from what I click, what news I'm interested in. And then based on that, it gives me very customized information. So it's kind of similar idea that as I'm browsing through information, it knows what I'm looking for and kind of give me more customized.
I think we talked about how each of the learning modules can be turned into a game.
We learn at different speeds depending on the context, not in the content, not just in general. There are some people who may be really quick at gaining some manual kind of things, and some people for whom that is very difficult, and for some people it may be easier to get into strategy games. Though to some extent, I think there are some pretty good virtual reality simulations that you could use, for example, as alternative assessment.
As for like automated answering agent, the Spectrum agent that pick up your phone call to the customer service, is like when there's demanding, exacting questions raised by tons of students to the professor. Some of them are actually pretty simple. If we can just filter out these things and answer these things, that's what we meant by determinant questions. That will save tons of time.